Welcome back everybody to the SQ1 YouTube channel and to another VOD for the Champions League Summer Split, where today's match will be between Orthrus Gaming and Glorious Gaming. My name is CJ, and for the first time ever, I'm joined by none other than Varus.
Got a big collab for a big game, you know? Gotta make it happen, so I'm excited to see what both teams are going to pull out and what can actually stop the side of Orthrus Gaming.
Yeah, these guys have been leaving a trail of destruction in their wake since joining this Champions League. They're currently 11-1, I believe. They were finally handed their first loss last week at the hands of Fuzzy Esports, but these guys have been looking almost unstoppable.
Well, I think that's mainly down to like them having nearly no weaknesses. They've got so many good flexible laners what can literally play anything you need them to play, so they're just so reliable that it's hard to find any chinks in their armor. And because of this, teams have struggled to actually come up against them.
Yeah, speaking of struggling, GG themselves has not been having the easiest of split. They're currently sitting at 5 and 6. They were titans of the spring split, really, but now they're struggling to find that consistency going through these games. What do you think's going wrong for this team?
I think the main reason why they're accumulating leads, but they're struggling to hold on to them leads. They're finding too many openings. Their opponents are just finding easy ways to get back into the game, which they shouldn't be allowed to. So GG is not closing out the game fast enough for what they should be doing with their leads.
Yeah, and a team like Orthrus Gaming, we have seen them make some really stellar comebacks, so GG's going to have to be on the watch for this one, as we do check in with the pick and bans which have been running in the background. We can see that Zoe's been banned away. Henk Henkerson did just lock in a pentakill on that champion in the last game versus Royal Reapers, so he's got to be feeling good about that one, but it's understandable that Orthrus Gaming don't want to see that one on the Rift.
There's a reason this guy actually never gets Zoe, and it's kind of interesting that he did last game, because when you look at his OPGG, you see Zoe's his most played by far, and he's very consistent on it, has a very good win rate, and he just displayed that in a game ago, so not surprised to see it banned away, and we've got the SQ1 first pick.
Yeah, we've seen the Hecarim banned away from Samus as well. This guy normally likes to play these high AD skirmishing junglers, but last game, to pair with that Zoe, he actually pulled out a Rammus. So this guy's definitely got some pocket picks there. We'll need to see what he chooses to go with, as they have locked in the Aatrox and the Ezreal. These are both very common picks right now.
And what it seems like they might be doing, like you've just mentioned, that Rammus pick, they might even hide the jungle pick in this first rotation. Just for that reason, it might draw out more bans, and then he still might end up picking Rammus for all we know.
Yeah, I think the pocket picks are really underutilized in general. This current patch in the meta, you can see it across pro play as well. The strength of the pocket pick and just taking something which you can play well and you can get a really good lane matchup on seems to be taking absolute precedence. So having something in his back pocket might make that a strong use later on into this one. He's currently hovering the Kog'Maw on Rengar in the mid lane. That's not an ADC I've seen for a long time.
Definitely don't expect this to come through.
Okay.
And we end up with a Karma, kind of standard. It's very flexible still. Obviously we know Fiora's definitely going to the top lane, into the counter matchup, into the Aatrox. But that's not always such a perfect matchup for Fiora, as if Aatrox gets ahead early in this lane, it can be very volatile for her to actually come back into this, considering she needs items a lot more than the Aatrox does to actually come online. So it can be very dangerous, and it's going to be heavily jungle influenced this top lane.
Yeah, and it looks like Henk Henkerson has gone back to his usual style of those early AD bruisers with this J4, so that is someone that can offer a lot of assistance to Perrin in this top lane, into any lane in general. This is a very versatile early jungler, really strong pick for someone who likes to get early and get those ganks off.
Yeah, and it just creates such a good front line with the Aatrox and the Jarvan together. It just creates so much pressure of you just hard engaging. Fiora can be in that side lane, sure, but she has to be winning in that side lane. If she's not winning, she's very difficult to play in team fights. I was trying to find a word to describe it, but it's very hard to describe it.
It's hard to play, it's hard to describe. The whole thing is just very, very difficult when it comes to Fiora. You can really go for the split push option, you can go for the team fight option. It is sometimes hard to decide whether you want to go for one option or the other. We'll need to see if Shadow is up to the task of that good judgment call, as we haven't had any more carries locked in for the side of OG. We've got that Sejuani, very classic jungler, locked in for Kajak, and the Karma, as you say, could be mid lane, but also could be on Fury in the support role.
And not only that, So we're seeing the popularity rise with Karma being played as an APC in the bot lane in place of an AD carry. So there's still that option on the table as we don't really see anything else yet. And there's the likes of Nico and Morgana banned away here.
Yeah, I really would be surprised, honestly, to see the Karma go into mid lane. That's not a champion that Rengar is used to playing. I mean, the guy's name is Rengar, and his tag is Rengo. They've banned the Rengar and Yasuo away against this person, plus Chiana. There's a definite type forming here. You expect an aggressive laner from this player, and I think Karma would be possibly a waste of his talents.
Especially with the likes of Akali still left open in this draft. She did receive some buffs, which did actually help her so much. She did get a nerf in the term of her invisibility being changed, but she's still very strong, still very predominant, and is actually good into a lot of the picks what the side of GG have.
Yeah, we're seeing this Lucian being locked in here for Fair. I remember seeing a lot of great performances by Fair on the Sona Taric, Fair and Fury. They would usually get battered around in lane and then come back through strong team fighting. Now we're seeing him on a champion which is designed to dominate that lane. However, going up against Ezreal, I feel like Ezreal is relatively well positioned to not get too hard pressured by a champion like Lucian.
It all depends on how they manipulate the wave in the early game, and that's generally how this matchup will go. If the Lucian and Karma can get the early aggression and actually get the early push, they can demand a lot more presence in that lane, and because of how much poke they do have with the Karma in that lane, it becomes a lot harder to actually sit back in that lane and CS very well. So it's all going to depend on that wave management level 1, and that's going to make a massive difference in this lane.
Yeah, we are going to see Silas locked in for Rengar, we presume, in that mid lane. Much more his type, something that can get scrappy, get aggressive, start some early fights, maybe link up with Sejuani in the jungle to get some strong 2v2s. And that's going to be matched by the Azir on Henk Henkerson's side. So, as opposed to the Zoe, which you played last game, there's a lot less easy engage options. You obviously can pull a Shurima shuffle, but this is a much more scaling. You're trying to get your value out just doing loads and loads of damage on this Azir pick. We need to see if Henk Henkerson can still have as much impact and control over this game on something with less easy setup.
So the thing I wanted to touch on actually is the Silas being picked here is actually so good for the reason that Silas is a sleeper pick right now, in the mid lane especially, because he's really good into both Azir and Corki. And this has started to pop up more in popularity as people have started banning away either the Corki or the Azir. They don't ban both. Usually one of them will get banned. And then the answer is usually Silas. So I think he's picked up on that. And it's a solid pick anyway, with so many good ultimates to actually steal in this game, that I do like this pick here. I like the aggression, what should come out from this pick. If he can get that early push, help Sejuani keep her aggression in the early game without losing anything to J4, I think they can demand a lot of presence in this game.
Sure, if they're going to be demanding presence early, OG was recently handed their first loss at the hands of Fuzzy Esports last week. Fuzzy Esports is also a team that has been surprising a lot of people this season. What was it, do you think, that gave Fuzzy the key to take down OG? And do you think GG have the tools to exploit a similar, I hesitate to say weakness, as we said that OG is such a consistent team, but do you think GG is possibly able to learn from Fuzzy Esports' victory, or if they're going to be able to find some opening here?
I think, to be honest, everyone can learn from Fuzzy Esports' win against them, because they're like you said, they're the only team that actually have taken down Orthrus Gaming, and Orthrus do like the hyper-aggression, and if you can either match that or either catch them out with some cheese, either one can actually start your snowball rolling, and if you keep that rolling, that can be enough to actually win you the game, despite players' levels or any skill difference, what there might be, even in the slightest, can be nullified by just snowballing the game. So I would like to see, if I'm the side of GG, I want you to see the priority in that top lane early, as mid's going to be super hard to gank because it's Azir into Silas early game. You don't have many tools to actually follow up. And sort of similar to the bot lane, I don't see much kill pressure for the side of GG down there. So I want to see start the ball rolling in the top lane and then start transitioning in that into other lanes.
It's interesting, we did see Samus linking up a lot with Henk Henkerson last game. It was really that jungle mid duo that secured them their leads and carried that game through, so we'll need to see if Samus can turn that attention effectively to the top, possibly the bot lane as well. Perrin, of course, used to be the mid laner for this team, so he's used to playing aggressive. He would do a lot of games on things like the Blanc. He would play the Aatrox mid lane as well, so we know this guy can get aggressive, can get tradey in lane, and if he's got Samus backing him up, hopefully he'll be able to take an advantage, maybe snowball that one through. If we look at the early game coming out of both these teams, Azir does have a cleanse early on as well, whereas Sylas does have the teleport. Do you think that Sylas is going to be using this teleport to gain lane advantage and to teleport back to the mid lane to get XP and farm, or are we expecting some cross map plays from the Sylas?
I think to start off, it's just going to mainly to pressure the lane, as you're going to want to push in this Azir early and try to deny him as much CS in the early game as you can, and it's just going to stop him getting to that power spike of 2 items on Azir is actually a really harsh power spike, and it does hit really hard as soon as he gets to that point. But the problem is getting to that point is never that easy. So I want to see personally Rengar just constantly keeping the Azir pushed in and keeping that Sejuani next to him just to counter gank anything what will come through, because I do think that 2v2 in the mid lane, that Sejuani and Sylas will actually take that 2v2 very convincingly.
Sure, we'll need to see if that plays out as expected. I imagine we'll need to see some strong warding from Henk Henkerson to try and keep himself abreast of this one, as if they get on top of him, he is going to be having a very rough time, as you say, in that matchup. I think that bot lane as well needs to be quite heavily in favor of vision for Fair and Fury. Normally we see these people get pushed around, as I said earlier, but now they are in a lane which can actually push up. Do you think that they're going to be shoving in this lane? They're going to be going for fights, or do you think that Rakusho is going to be able to swing this one back through the pipe play?
I think it's going to fall back to what I mentioned earlier. If that Lucian and that Karma can get that early lane push, it can lead to them actually accumulating such a big lead. And because Lucian's power spike is way earlier than Ezreal's, they both have TP, so they're both going to get to lane more or less the same. And it's going to be about keeping that Ezreal in lane as long as you can without him using that TP, because then you can get damage on this tower, you can start working towards these plates. As soon as Lucian gets Cutlass in this lane, it's when it gets really scary for Ezreal, and it becomes a lot harder for him to actually lane safely in this lane. So
yeah, we are onto the Rift right now. Both teams have loaded in. We have loaded in as well. This is Orthrus Gaming versus Glorious Gaming. We've got a fairly standard 5-point start, as we can see. No one going too aggressive. We'll need to see which team can edge themselves out an early lead. If you looked at both these team comps, Varys, just side by side, all 5 champions, who do you think's better positioned to take an early lead in this game?
Honestly, this is quite a surprising one, what you'll think, but I actually think GG's is better. Because, like I said, Aatrox is very easy to snowball, and there's a lot of good runes taken in this game. I'll touch on that in a second.
Yeah, there are interesting choices here.
I actually think a lot of them are really good choices. I'll go over that in a sec, but the Aatrox can snowball so hard on this early matchup, and people always underestimate Jarvan's damage. Even though he's got Conqueror, he's still going to do a lot of damage, and people always underestimate that. So that can be the difference of someone being caught out just by the EQ.
Yeah, so he does have to land a few more hits to get that value off the Conqueror as opposed to the easy electrocute damage. Something, you mentioned runes, I really want you to tell me about Perrin's Grasp of the Undying. I feel like this is not a common pick on Aatrox.
So, into harder matchups, you will see either there's 3 different runes you go on Aatrox. It's either Conqueror, Electrocute, or Grasp. And Fiora is actually one you do take Grasping because you want short trades against it. You don't want to keep trading with someone like Fiora because you will lose the long trades because you don't have CDR early, especially. And Aatrox is a CDR based champion, especially because your Darkin Blade is like 80% of your damage. So you're able just to proc it very easily, and your Empowered Auto gives you that extra range, so you can literally just proc it on her, walk away, get extra healing from the Grasp too. And it just makes it easier to sustain in this lane without being poked out by Fiora.
We'll have to see if that works out for Perrin, as he is looking for those early trades. We have seen 2 wards go down for Red Team, and Samus is coming in. Actually, Rengo is going to get knocked up, but no procs to be seen. A little bit of a chunk, a little bit of a health advantage for Henkerson here. Just a bit of pressure, nothing more.
And this also falls back to the runes. This Sylas isn't going to be as tanky. He doesn't have Aftershock, so if he does land these chains, he can still get easily burst in this lane, but it also falls back to us seeing that we want to see aggression from Rengar, so he has gone for the Electrocute. He wants to get kills in this lane.
We'll have to see if he's able to do that, as Perrin's actually taking a little bit of a chunk from these vitals. Shadow maneuvering around the Aatrox very well. Perrin forced back to the tower. Sejuani is waiting in the wings as well, grabbing these golems on that top side. Hasn't been spotted by a ward as well. Do you think they're able to make a dive happen here, or if it's too early?
I think it's definitely possible, but we'll see action.
Oh, hang on a second. Coming in here, in comes that Jarvan, and a nice hook back onto Fair. He is going to get easily taken down. That's a first blood, clean as you like. And now Rengar, here's that aggression you're talking about. Does miss that chain, here's that dive. Flash away from Perrin to no avail, but Rengar's taking up his tower shots. He's going to go down. It's actually a trade in the top lane. And now another hook onto Fury. He gets pulled up. Samus comes in for round 2, and Whisper just chunking out these auto attacks. Samus going very low. He's going to go down, actually. Fury trades. And now Fair with the TP back in is pushing away GG's bot lane. What a back and forth series of events.
So many spicy plays just actually happened all over the map, and it's not ending yet. So the vital play actually in the top lane, that dive was actually so good even though Sejuani died, because the amount of minions Aatrox actually lost there was so huge. You can see now he's on 11 CS to Furious 20. He actually loses so much XP and gold in there that it actually should put him a fair bit behind in this lane. So it's a really good answer by Sejuani as soon as she's seen Jarvan bot lane.
Yeah, it's an explosive start for this game when you see the Executioner's calling coming in for Fiora as well. So that self-healing that Perrin has got on the Aatrox is going to be neutered somewhat. Plus that Corrupting Potion and the Biscuits. This Fiora is going to be very hard to deal with, as maybe Kaijak's coming back for another shot at this top lane. Is the engage from Shadow? Perrin is walking away. Should be able to get out of this one no trouble. Just a bit of extra damage on there.
Just wanted to mention, Ezreal has nearly a 700 gold lead in this bot lane. Klepto helps a lot with that, especially with a gold sack sitting in the inventory. And obviously them 2 kills help very nicely, so we talked about the early game. They turned it on their head. They knew this was coming, and Jarvan just really smart pathing to actually go towards his bot lane and target them, because he knew they were pushing in the early game.
Yeah, the first blood plus a second and a slice sack of gold we saw coming in there for GG Whisper on this Ezreal. He's got over 30 CS, couple of kills, is down a little bit from Fair, but is still, as you say, vastly up in gold. He's going to be accelerating towards that mana moon quick as you like, as Hankerson and Rengar are getting very scrappy in this mid lane, and now Kaijak may be looking to try and find a fight as Rakusho goes in for a hook, is just going to get locked up though. Not Silas passive, but Hiccup Samus, he's actually just come out of nowhere. Fury's been knocked up, and now is this like another kill coming in? Whisper on a killing spree at 5 minutes. Kaijak now coming to back up his team. Fair actually takes down Samus. GG, Flash goes right in and dies. Whisper goes completely insane and ends up giving away the shutdown.
It doesn't end here yet. Never mind. Yes, it will. Quite an interesting event of plays there, especially with the flash in by Ezreal. I feel like it was just a lot of greed to sort of kill this Lucius, put him out this lane, shut him down a little bit more.
He does get the Mana Moon on deck, but now Lucian's picked up 2 kills and has got the BF sword and longsword as well as double Dorans. I feel like this is pretty even as Hankerson's getting flashed on top of, but a nice Azir shuffle out of there pushes them both away, and now Rengar's on the wrong side of town. He's has to use his flash, and Samus is just going to be walking him down. Kaijak takes another tower shot trying to help out Samus, looking for this 1v2. He's got that Q coming through, and now GG Whisper's come to back him up. Samus got chunked very low, but now surely Rengar's going to be going down. Whisper looking for a 4th, misses the Mystic shot. Samus is going to finally get that double kill. An over-aggression coming out of OG, and well played by Hankerson.
So this is exactly what we wanted to see by GG. We wanted to see them match the aggression, and they're starting to do this. They're starting to pull out all the aggression they can to actually keep up with the side of Orthrus. And because of this, Samus is actually reading the map so well. He's constantly everywhere at the moment. It's just causing so much pressure, and now he's threatening this Fiora.
Yeah, Flash has already been taken down and doesn't have his Cataclysm critically, so I think not enough damage on deck. He knows he can't burst them out. Is at least going to delay that recall, lets Perrin get the wave into the position he wants. Zia's still fallen 12 CS down currently after this Fiora, despite being the one who seems to be taking the win in these trades recently.
Yeah, and he is down 200 gold in that lane as well. He's down 200 gold and he is winning them trades, and it's mainly that grasp will come into fruition, and as Fiora, you can only parry one of the Darkin Blades. It's just a decision of which one do you want to block, really. Yeah. There's so much damage going to come out from either one of them.
Fury's doing a good job at landing these empowered Soul Flares onto Whisper. He's getting chunked down, and look at this wave. This is so unfortunate for Whisper. Brilliant freezing there by Fair as a nice CS lead extended. He's almost doubled his CS at 8 minutes.
So literally what I want to see now is SQ1 shadow that bot lane for the counter gank. If she can do this, it can literally close out the game there and then, because he's already frozen the Ezreal off that lane completely. That Lucian has a BF sword. He will hit so hard if he even gets one more kill, or even just gets a slight bit more ahead in this lane. And
it looks like Sejuani is showing up, as you said there. Maybe just recalling for now, but definitely putting some attention towards this bottom lane. Rakusho was hanging around the mid lane, it's just returned. Do you think this Pyke is best served looking for roams to help other lanes? Oh, here comes the engage. And Hook is going to go wide somehow. But Hankerson's actually found the engage onto Rengar. He's just winning this 1v1 straight up. Samus doesn't even need to do anything. The bot lane from GG disengages as mid lane now goes in their favor.
the smart play by Hankerson. He's seen that Silas was low on mana. As soon as he's seen that, he pulled the trigger and just threw him towards his tower. And with no mana, what are you actually going to do about that? There's nothing you can actually do here.
Well, the ultimate's come out from Shadow. We saw him get that stun on the Darkened Blade. He's looking for this one, and now Samus going for Fury once again. There's nowhere he can go. The custom comes out instantly, has to flash away. Samus does not want to take the full commitment on that one. Fair uses his flash as well, and it's going to be another kill for the spot lane, actually in the favor of GG now.
I feel like Samus is just doing so many proactive things in this game that it's actually so hard for SQ1 to actually keep up with. Killjack can't actually keep up with this Jarvan, and it's starting to show.
Yeah, looks like he's going for this top lane again. They did find some success earlier there. Perrin's going to get stunned. A nice follow ultimate by Kajak. That's a clean 2v1 kill. You were saying that Kajak struggled to keep up, started to go back to this top lane, does manage to pick up some gold.
It's like he heard me. As soon as I said that, he makes something happen in the top lane. Nicely set up by Shadow. I think Aatrox was really greedy not just to flash that first parry, because Fura walked past the wave there. You surely got to understand something fishy's going on there.
Yeah, Fiora didn't even have the ultimate up. Like, has no business taking that fight without backup. Perrin's going to have to burn that TP, and Samus now making his presence known in this top lane for the first time. It's going to walk past that pink orb, but looks like they might be converging on this Rift Herald.
I think the main spicy thing to watch in this game is still this bot lane. They're still very close in terms of gold, and it's mainly because of Klepto. Obviously, them kills help Ezreal, but Lucian is very farmed this game, so this can still go either way in this bot lane right now. And that's the thing I want to keep my eyes on, to see who's actually going to be able to transform this lead into something more.
Yeah, it looks like Rakusho is roaming a lot more now, spending a lot of time up near this Rift Herald. They're getting a bit skirmishy here. It looks like OG do not want to give this one up for free. They are in a 4v3 though. They don't really have the advantage to be doing this. Kajak hanging around, doesn't want to go in, doesn't want to go out. And now he's trapped in, he can't go out. Hankerson will take that one for free, and they get the Rift Herald. Ezreal was pushed away from his tower bot lane, but that's an easy man advantage for GG there.
Now it's just how quickly are they going to use this Herald before they lose that first tower bot lane. You can see Fair and Fury are hard pressuring that, trying to get an answer already.
There it goes. That first turret's gone down. Picked up for OG. The Rift Herald's come down in mid lane. It's 3 versus 1. Rengar, not much he can do here, but the wave not quite in. Tower shot's going to be chunking away at Shelly. They really want to get this wave in to get the plate gold, but now the side of OG, they're converging as well. Fury's coming in from the side. Kajak behind. Rengar really wants to clean this one out, but he's still in a 1v3. Has to flash away. Samus now very deep behind enemy lines. That's a shutdown going over to Rengar. Whisper teleports in and actually gets knocked up by the Sejuani stun. He's now in a spot of bother. Here comes that Sejuani, the Pykel, I should say, from Silas. Rengar getting back into the action, securing more gold for his team. Definitely a bit too greedy from GG there.
Yeah, and the greed starts to bite them in the butt. You can see why. That TP was so greedy by Whisper, and it got punished straight away, no hesitation. The side of GG is just trying so hard to match OG's aggression, but they don't know when to temper this aggression. They're not slowing down at all to think about their plays. They're just going in headstrong, trying to match them. But OG already have their backup plan, and they're just counter-engaging in these teamfights.
Yes, and these shutdowns going over to the carries, over to Rengar, over to Fair. This is how they're getting back into this game. Fair's got that Essence Weaver completed already now. Rengar's going to be locking in that. I imagine it'll be a Proto Belt very shortly. It's still actually going in on Henk Henkerson. He can't get over the wall, but he gets Shreever shuffled over, flashes alongside him and dies. What a questionable decision right there. And now Samus is locked in a 1v4 all of a sudden, and he gets taken down. GG, they're starting to crumble.
They are starting to crumble, and we're starting to see... This is why they're actually starting to... Well, not starting. This is why they're actually losing their games in the past. They're not able to transform these leads into anything without losing too much.
Orthrus, the kings of consistency here. Rengar not to be kept out of this game. Goes in for that fight when he was on less than 3 bars against Henk Henkerson 6 or 7. Knows he's got the backup and is confident enough to take that. They're now going to take up the second turret of the game as the Herald didn't manage to get anything done. It's only actually 4 plates taken in total for GG right now. And there's just 2 towers down plus 1 in top lane for OG.
And the thing is, I doubt there's any anti-healing going to be built this game. So the Sylas and the Fiora are actually just going to be so dangerous in terms of how low they could be in a team fight, and they can still turn it on their head.
It's going to have to be maybe a Mortal Reminder coming out from Whisper, but that is a very late buy realistically on the Ezreal to get good value out of it. You do not want to be seeing a last Whisper third item on this Ezreal, and I guess elsewhere you could have a Morello's on the Azir, but that's a long way off. Aatrox as well, he could in theory go into some Executioner's Calling, I guess, but what does he even build it into?
You literally just have to sit on it, because upgrading that is very useless for Aatrox.
A whole 800 gold item slot, that's how feels bad, man.
Yeah, and Bramblevest is completely useless on him, so it's it's very horrible when you have to build it on champions like these, but I don't think anyone will build it, that's the issue, and they're just gonna make it easier for the picks like Sylas and Fiora to actually do more in this game.
Yeah, they're both going to be benefiting a lot off that. I like Shadow's option to try and use the chain to get that stun. Sadly didn't land it. And the first dragon of the game, it's 15 minutes in. We haven't even seen it been attempted yet. And now Kaija easily sweeps that one up as OG have got so much pressure on this game with those towers down. Looks like they're really taking control.
I think the worst part about that dragon being taken out 15 minutes, it's the best laning Drake you could want. It's the Ocean Drake, and it's took 15 minutes to be taken because there's been that much aggression in this game.
I feel like things like Azir and Ezreal, they love early Ocean Drakes when they can sit back, just get extra mana, they can take not necessarily great trades, and they can just run away, heal it back up. Now they don't even secure it, so they're going to be without that one. As now OG, they've grouped up into this bot lane to start a push, and this could help them with a siege.
See, that's the thing, what you just mentioned is such a good point, because that's what GT could have done. You have 2 very good scaling options in the Ezreal and the Azir. You could have sat back a little bit more after you got them early leads and gave them nothing for your troubles and just scaled happily.
Sadly, they were not able to pick that one up, and now they're getting shoved back. We can take a moment of silence for Rakusho's health bar. Samus is actually going in. Rengar's getting aggressed on. Instantly, Pyke's ultimate stolen. A killing spree for Rengar. Pyke wipes off the face of the earth, and now Perrin is here. They are actually in a 2v5. Lucian left to go to that mid lane. They are going to run away, though. The Karma speed up being unable to catch them, and now the towers are getting shoved down. They managed to get a 1-for-1, but at what cost?
Trying to find something here, but they're not going to find anything, and they're just starting to chip away at these towers. And Fiora's just getting free reign in that top lane.
Yeah, Shadow's been pushing there happily for the past couple of minutes. Got that top lane tower down, now knocking on the second one. Lucian getting damage on mid as well. Do you think that they're best served, OG, by doing this splitting up strategy, or do they want to take a 5v5?
I think you're definitely best splitting, because who can actually answer Fiora right now is probably this man right here. This is probably the only man who can actually answer her without dying. Because I believe right now Fiora could all in on any single one of these and actually get away with it. Azir's probably a lot more slippery, and he's got a lot more to actually get away from this Fiora. But he's not the man you want answering a Fiora. He's who you need clearing these ways, sort of like keeping you in this game.
Hank Hankerson is putting up a strong performance this game to match last game. He's had a great day so far, coming off a Zoe pentakill in game 1. Now seeing like he's the only member of GG with the head screwed on properly in this one as Perrin now. He is getting collapsed on. Fair's coming around to try and cancel this recall. Shadow as well. They know they've caught him out in the 2v1. Here comes that culling just to stop it. A TP's actually been started. Can he get it away? He isn't quite going to make it. Fair's going to pick up a killing spree. Perrin loses the TP and his life.
I think if you're Perrin there, you could have kept channeling your recall and tried your odds at that. I think you had more chance of that than getting your full TP through. But it might have just been a panic decision, trying to just get out there with your life. Happens, it's heat at the moment. It can happen to anyone at any point, so...
Yeah, you've maybe got to commit to one option. Yeah, you've got to commit to one or the other, the TP or the recall, but you can't do both.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the thing. And you see this as is still sitting in the side lane right now, just trying to grab what farm he can. The sooner he gets the Morello, the sooner he can actually do more in this game. And I think that's all you want to do as the side of GG right now. You want the Zir to scale to his 2 items, so you've got more chance at these team fights.
Yeah, the vision line is being pushed up through the jungle, though, from Orthrus Gaming. They've taken full control of the Baron pit, and if you want to sit back and scale, the Baron coming online is your worst nightmare. It's the one thing that really can drag you out of your base. You have to try and help out with that one if it gets started. We'll see if Orthrus choose to start a Baron dance, or if they keep going on the split push. The Shadow actually committed the Grand Challenge in top lane. Perrin commits World Ender on the backside. He does want to take this fight. That's the healing, though. Shadow surely is the advantage state now. Gets that stun off as well. This is well played by Shadow. He's going to take that flash away. Flashes after to secure a killing spree. Couldn't have been played better by this Fiora.
Definitely could have been played better, and you see...
Oh, Rakusho! He just gets wiped out, culled down by Lucian, taking down that demon in the pike, and now Kaikex following Samus into his jungle on that blast cone. Cannot escape a double kill for this Lucian now. Towers are going to be falling. This could be the base opening up.
See, you give Orthrus a lead and you will regret it, and they punish you at every step you take. As soon as that pike stepped up, no hesitation by Lucian. And they just insta-bursted him down, and the Fiora outplay on the bot lane. There's anti-healing on her. What is Aatrox actually going to do in this matchup when he can't sustain the damage he's taken?
Yeah, there goes the inhibitor now. As we said, the Baron's coming up soon, Dragon's coming up again soon, and the pressure is so heavily in their favor. A lovely parry for instant death for Pyke. Runs up for a hook and is handed his own gravestone. Another beautiful parry by Shadow. No hesitation in wiping out that aggression.
You can see why the side of Orthrus didn't prioritize an Aatrox ban. They had an answer for it straight away. They knew the Fiora was just going to dominate this matchup, and because they're playing so well around it, it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise they're leaving the Aatrox open to say, I dare you to pick Aatrox.
Let's just take a look down GG and see how many completed items they have as a team. Let's see, Samus has got 1, he's got the jungle item there. Hank Hankerson's got Nash's, that's 1. Ezreal's got 2, and they're some of the cheapest items you can ever buy. And that's it, what is that, 4? 4 completed items across 5 champions at 20 minutes?
And you nearly have the Infinity Edge coming through on Lucian.
Yeah, he's always got 3. Just by himself, he's got 3 to the 4 of GG on 1 champion.
And that's where it's going to get scary. Like, it's already very hard for them to find any opening to come back in the game. GG, that is. And then when you've got so much damage coming out from Lucian, what is your answer, is the question. It's like, you have to get a pick, but how do you get these picks when they've got full control of your jungle?
Maybe they have to get an exceptional Shurima shuffle from Hankerson when they're trying to flub a dive, perhaps a fumbled Baron fight. If they can get a steal, it'll help them maybe stabilize. They don't have to worry about the minions so much. I feel like that could do it, but apart from that, there's a lot of doors closing and not a lot remaining open for GG in this game.
And then you've got mid permanently pushing right now while they start the Baron, so they just know now's the time to go.
Oh, the big chunk from Fury there. This Karma's actually doing a lot of damage. Whisper getting some vision, using the True Shot Barrage. Baron down to about 7,000. Rakusho forced the flash away again. This Pyke has been absolutely massacred recently. Fury still throwing out these huge soul flares. Rengar actually Pyke goes over and just takes him straight off the map. Goes after Whisper, who's forced to flash away as well. And the Proto Belt will finish that one off. Perrin now once again getting 1v1'd out by Shadow. This is just an absolute massacre for OG right now. Oh, the flash after and a dominating from Lucian. Kajak finds Samus as well. This is an interesting 1v1. Surely he does not win this one. Samus gets that Conqueror proc, does get stunned up, but the Cataclysm will keep him in there. A late flash does nothing to keep Kajak alive, and they will at least get one kill, but they're knocking on the base. OG is looking to secure this win at 22 minutes after a powerful performance by them.
Main reason behind that SQ1 is suicide play. It's just to stop this job from getting towards his base. Stop any attempt at defending this. Now it's the game.
There's just nothing that they can do at that point. Really well played. That last few minutes is just a microcosm of the whole game. You can see Shadow crushing that 1v1 offside. Fury doing huge amounts of damage on this Karma, chunking them out. Rakusho just has to flash away before he can even do anything. And then Rengar goes in, steals that Pykel, and just completely wipes out the bot lane duo. Really, really strong performance after what was a shaky early game. We saw the bot lane go heavily in GG's favor early on off some great Samus plays, but sadly he wasn't able to keep his team in it.
And we see the damage coming through with Fiora having the most damage in this game. The only actual reply in terms of damage was the Azir from Henderson. We've seen that he is playing well and that he's probably the only option to carry this game when it came to it. If they could have delayed and played a little bit slower and played around this Azir pick, they might have been able to do a bit more in this game. But when you're side of Orthrus, they don't leave many options.
No, Samus and Henderson, exactly. Samus and Henderson did have an excellent game today across these two games. Sadly, they weren't able to make it work in game 2. If we had to look at Orthrus Gaming very quickly, who do you think would be your MVP of this game? I feel like there's a lot of candidates.
It's very hard. Definitely lean towards Fury, actually. Fury was constantly replying to any of the roams what Pyke did. And because he was in the right place at the right time, you've seen the damage come through from this Karma. She was actually just half hitting people, setting up these plays for Sylas to go in. And because of this, it just made the fight so much easier that Fury could get so much poke down preemptively before the fights.
Absolutely. A lot of damage there from Fury. A bit of an unsung hero. Good to see some support love from our MVP votes here today. That is going to be Orthrus Gaming moving up to 12-1. GG, unfortunately, they fall to 5-7. They need to try and turn this one around if they want any hope of making the playoff picture. Meanwhile, OG, they're fighting for that top spot, almost locking themselves in a playoff bye as it is. And that is going to wrap up our VOD today. This has been the Square One YouTube channel. You should be able to see a nice, lovely playlist or on our channel of all the other VODs from this season ready for your delectation if you want to check those out. We'll be back as on Mondays and Tuesdays every week as usual with the streams and more VODs coming to this channel for you guys to watch. I have been CJ. Casting alongside me has been Varys. Have a good night, everybody.